Notts County Talk, back with our second episode of Monthly Awards. Me and Tom are going to give our verdict on Team of the Month, Player of the Month, or our Player of the Month, Result of the Month, and sort of letdown of the month in terms of team, and best and worst stream. So I'll let you hit it off, Tom, with your Team of the Month.
Team of the Month, then. I'm going to go for Wrexham. Now, they've gone through November unbeaten.
Yeah.
They got a really good 1-0 away win at Hartlepool, which, as we know from last season, is not an easy place to go and get a result on the best of days. Hartlepool are a good team, so they got that win. They got a massive 4-0 win against Sutton, who sit right up near the top. Again, a fantastic result. And they've, if you remember when we did last month, I think they'd lost to maybe Maidenhead on a Monday night, a really poor result. They've turned it around. So in November, they've actually conceded 1 goal and scored 7. So they're doing everything right. So they're my Team of the Month.
Yeah, I was actually going to choose Wrexham, but something told me not to when I was looking throughout. I think a big thing for Wrexham will obviously be the investors coming in. What's his name? Deadpool, isn't it? What's his name? Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
And the other guy, I can't remember his name, but that'll be the boost for them. My Team of the Month, as generic as it may be, because they sit at the top of the league, is Torquay. They're pretty flawless at the moment, aren't they? They've won 7, drawn 1, lost 1 throughout the season. They're just on fire. I mean, going into this season, for me anyway, they weren't one of the teams that you'd think would start the way they have. They started phenomenally. And just another great month on top of a great month. So they've really got the momentum behind them.
Yeah, I thought they might have tailed off a little bit by now, but...
Yeah, I did as well. Yeah.
Right, Player of the Month. So there are a few players. I think you went for Tom Denton last month, didn't you? I was close to choosing him because he's had another decent month. But I've gone for a player that is not a striker this month. I've gone for Kane Ferdinand. Now, he's literally Woking stalwart, isn't he? He's been there 4 years. I remember one of his goals, a lob a few years ago, unbelievable goal. He always gives 100%. And now he's started chipping with goals as well. He's got 5 this season. He's got 3 in his last 2. And he's been like a massive part of Woking's last 2 wins. I think they've scored 9 in the last 2. So he's got a third of those goals. He's just stepped up massively, and it's coinciding with an upturn in results for Woking as well. So Kane Ferdinand.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you're saying there about Tom Denton, because I wanted to talk about him because he's had a phenomenal start and he's had another good month. You know, he scored against us, very good against us as well. That like sort of lanky, strong player. For some reason, Kelly Evans was marking him, but we won't talk about it. He's averaging like 106 minutes per goal, which is fantastic, really.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
He's in the form of his life. But this heavily weighs on obviously the Notts game. The Wealdstone keeper, Harvey Eisted. I mean, you look at Wealdstone. They're obviously up there in the league, but they've conceded the second most goals in the league. They've conceded 23 goals. With the way that he was performing, whether it was because he thought, it's not, so I need to pick up my game, or whatever it was, they could have conceded 4 or 5 more goals, couldn't they? Against us?
You wonder how many they'd have conceded this season if he's not in goal. I mean, the double save. If you haven't seen it, Notts County posted it on their Twitter. That's enough to win Player of the Month on its own, isn't it? It's such a good save. So yeah, that's a good choice actually. Result of the month.
Now, I'll go first on this one because you already talked about it. Because I said I was going to choose Wrexham. I've gone for the Wrexham for sort of nil. Yeah. Not a result you thought you'd see. Wrexham have played 10 games and scored 13 goals, so they've scored almost a quarter of the goals just against Sutton. And I think Sutton have only conceded something like 12 goals. Could be wrong there, but that means that they've scored a quarter of the goals that Sutton have conceded this season. So it is a real obscure result, and you know it just shows you the momentum that Wrexham are starting to build.
We know from the Sutton game how hard it was to break their defence down. And it took like a 93rd minute. Sutton are not an easy team to put 1 past, never mind 4. So fair result. My result is, it could sound biased, but it's genuinely not if you look at it in the context. It's Chesterfield 2, Notts County 3. So if you're not aware of this game, Notts were playing rubbish, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
We were head in our hands for probably about 91 minutes of the game.
Yeah, 2-1 down, and then 2 headers in the last 2 minutes, turned the whole game around. And as you will have seen with the Wordstone result, it might be a catalyst for Notts to start playing better. But yeah, the manner of that turnaround after playing terribly for that long in a game that some consider as a rivalry, for me, has got to be result of the month.
I agree with you with that. It's kind of one of them where I've looked over a little bit because it's Notts. Do you know what I mean? Because we want to sort of make it like a National League wide video.
Had to go for it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's gave us that momentum, I think, to go into the game against Wordstone. Obviously, we wiped the floor of them, really. So that takes us on to underachievers, let down.
Shall I go first?
Yes.
So I'm going for Barnet. They're a team that in the pre-season prediction, I had them right down. I had them like 17th, 18th, 19th place, and they lost so many key players. And I thought to myself, they're going to have a hangover. I've said it in most of my videos. They're going to have a hangover from how they performed in the playoffs. And they've lost so many key players. This month, they've not won a game. They're winless. I talked about the goal ratio for Wrexham. It's the complete opposite for Barnet. They've actually scored 2 and conceded 9. Now, they're right down there in a position that some people wouldn't expect. I just think a team of Barnet's size, they have bought some decent players back in, but they've got to be doing better. They've got to.
Yeah.
So they're my underachievers.
I've gone for a similar pick. And again, it's sort of the obvious, but Yeovil, they're yet to win. That's just unbelievable. When you think about them being in the playoffs last season, it's not like they've had massive changes in the squad. It's just peculiar. Like, you can't put your finger on. And like, you look at their results, it's not like they're getting battered. It's like 1 or maximum 2 goals because they've not conceded that many goals. I think it's 13 goals they might have conceded this season. So it's an average of like just over a 1 goal a game. So it makes you wonder when it does sort of click, will they start climbing up the table a little bit? But I don't think anyone would have said Yeovil would be sitting bottom of the table after 10 games without a win. It's quite amazing, really.
You're looking at like, this goes on through December. You're looking at maybe kissing the playoffs goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like, they are languishing, but it's still doable for them at the minute. It's still doable.
Oh, yeah, it's the National League and anything can happen now.
Right, so this is the last 2. We got what we've seen, based off what we've seen. We watch every single Notts game, so we get the home streams and then we get the away team streams. So by the end of the season, we'll have judged every stream pretty much of every team.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Unless we're back in grounds, which would be amazing. So best stream, I'm going to give a shout out to Chesterfield because theirs was pretty good. It was clear.
They had replays as well.
Yeah, but again, it's not a biased thing. It's not have the standard, don't you?
Yeah, we were saying this, weren't we, to each other a few days ago. Like, they literally set a standard for leagues above. Like, at half time, they were interviewing Alex Lacey, and he was talking about like his injury, the squad, and everything like that. And it was literally interesting from 7:30 when it started, because he had the interview of Ardley on before, until it finished at 9:45. So for that amount of time, you're sort of intrigued, and like, yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but you had the adverts at half time as well to obviously bump up the revenue. Like, as a fan of the club, I like to see that, because it's obviously an incoming revenue when we're obviously struggling because of like things that are going on at the moment. But just the quality, like different camera angles, and obviously you've got the BBC radio commentary aligned with it, so it is really good. I think, yeah, that you can see the effort they've gone to, and it's class, really. It's really good.
And that brings on to the worst stream. Now, none of the streams are really that poor this month compared to last month when we had Dover, where we saw about 5 minutes of the whole game.
I think it's worth mentioning as well, we've only got 3 actual ones to choose from, haven't we?
Yeah, but I'm going Halifax, because for about 15 minutes in, we just saw their goalkeeper for about 8 minutes of the game, and the camera didn't change. It's not a massive thing. This stream was overall decent. We've had Altrincham as well. Quality wasn't as good as the rest we've seen, but at least we didn't just watch one player on the pitch for about 8 minutes. So, but yeah, overall this month the streaming quality is much better, and I don't know if it's like as the season goes on that'll improve. So
yeah, I think it will be, won't it? It'll probably be like you sort of testing the waters the first few games, so you don't really get to try it, but you can see it sort of coming together a bit now for a lot of clubs.
Yeah. So they are our awards for November, and there's a jam-packed December coming up. Hopefully all those games get played. We'll be reviewing right at the end of December, and let us know what you think in the comments.